Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Today, I want to talk to you about something a little different. This is not going to be a technique video. It's not going to be a compositional tip video, but rather a conversation about making your photography actually pay you back. So maybe you've heard of stock photography. Maybe you've even thought about it. But here's what I want you to know up front. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. I'm not going to promise you're going to be able to quit your job next month from selling photos online. That's just simply not real. But what is real is this. Stock photography is one of the few ways that a photographer can build genuine residual income, money that comes in repeatedly from work you did one time. And for those of us in retirement or maybe approaching retirement, well, that concept becomes very powerful. So I'm going to come back to that word residual because it ties into everything I'm doing with this channel, and I think it's going to resonate with a lot of you watching. Here's something that I find very interesting about retirement and creative work. A lot of people think income stops when the paycheck stops, but that doesn't have to be true. Take this YouTube channel, for example. I have videos that I made years ago that are still getting views today, still bringing in new subscribers, still earning ad revenue. I did the work once. I shot the footage. I edited the video. I wrote the script, and that content keeps paying me back. That's residual income. And stock photography works exactly the same way. You take a photo today, you upload it, you keyword it properly, and that image can sell dozens of times over the next 5 or 10 years. You do the work once, but that photo keeps working for you. In retirement, time is something that you have, right? But you're also watching your savings carefully. And so the idea of building income streams that don't require you to clock in every day, that's the game that I'm playing. YouTube is one stream, stock photography is another. Now, let me share some realistic expectations. Most contributors are not going to see meaningful income in the first few months. Actually, the 2 to 3 year mark is where things start getting interesting. And that's only if you're consistent. This is a long game, but here's the math that makes it compelling. 10 photos a week, 5 sites. That's 2,600 images across your portfolio in a single year. And here's the kicker. It only takes about 2 hours a week to do this. I actually just recently, I logged my time in each one of these steps. Now, I'm not counting the actual shooting of photography because I really don't pay much attention to that. I go out and I shoot every few days, and I might be out there for a couple hours, and not everything that I'm shooting is for stock photography. I'm just looking at that in Lightroom. So let's talk about what to actually shoot. The fastest way to complicate stock photography is to photograph people, because then you're going to need a model release. And that model release, that adds a whole nother layer of logistics. Starting with release-free subjects is the smart move. And here are the categories that consistently perform well. So nature and wildlife. This is evergreen content that never goes out of style. Birds, wetlands, seasonal changes, coastal landscapes. I'm lucky to live near the Don Edwards San Francisco Bay Wildlife Refuge, and I'll be honest, that place alone could supply me with stock images for years. Look around you, what's in your backyard? And again, I'm not saying that you're necessarily going to go out just to shoot stock photography. You're going out to have fun, and maybe some of these photos are going to be useful in stock photography. Start thinking about it like that. And another one here, architecture and urban scenes, exterior shots of buildings, bridges, cityscapes, infrastructure, clean light, strong composition. And this is where your eye for framing as a photographer is really going to pay off. Abstract, texture, ICM work. This is where you can genuinely stand out from the crowd. So you got intentional camera movement, light studies, creative blur. Designers and content creators constantly need non-literal imagery that feels visual and interesting rather than just documentary. And if you've been following this channel, you know I'm passionate about this kind of creative work. It has real commercial application. Conceptual still life, another one. Objects arranged to suggest ideas, growth, time, technology, productivity. Think coffee mugs, notebooks, clocks, plants, coins. These are searched constantly by bloggers, marketers, and small business owners. Food and beverage, another high demand one. No model release needed. Keep it unbranded, well lit, simply composed. Food imagery is consumed by millions of content creators, restaurants, and publications every single week. Seasonal and holiday themes, fall colors, spring blooms, winter frosts. Now, here's a little key. These spike before each season. So what you want to do is you want to start uploading seasonal content 4 to 6 weeks before the season even arrives. And then finally, you have the travel and landmarks. So the recognizable locations, but without the identifiable people. And again, your compositional background is going to give you a real edge here over someone just pointing a phone at a landmark. The key mindset shift: stop asking, is this a beautiful photo? And start asking, what would a blogger or marketer or designer use this for? And I'll tell you, that single question can change how you shoot for stock. So here's where the math really works in your favor. On most stock platforms, your license is going to be non-exclusive. That means that same image can live on 5 different sites and earn on all 5 simultaneously. You're not choosing, you're multiplying. And I have 5 sites that I'm going to recommend starting with, and I will have links to these sites in the notes section below. So first off, Adobe Stock. So this integrates directly with Creative Cloud, so it's going to be in front of every designer using Photoshop and Illustrator. There's going to be some high quality buyers out there. Shutterstock. This is the largest library and will have the most buyers, so it's going to be essential to be on this one. And I would select this one as number 1, and I would say Adobe Stock is number 2. Then there's also Getty and iStock. Now, the Getty is more selective, but they're higher per image earnings, and they have some premium tier buyers. And so Getty and iStock, they merge. That's why I'm saying just either one of those. Dreamstime. So this is a good mid-tier option. It's solid for building volume in the early stages. And finally, you have Alamy. So this one, higher commission rates than most, strong with editorial buyers like magazines and news outlets. Now, I know it sounds like uploading to 5 sites manually sounds tedious, but it's not. In a future video, and this is a good reason for considering to subscribe if you haven't done so already, I'm going to do a video about my workflow, and I'm going to show you how I use AI tools like ChatGPT and Claude AI, where I can go ahead and within literally maybe 90 seconds, I will have the keywords, the title, and the description. And all I'm now doing is I'm just going into the portal of each one of those sites, and I'm just simply dragging all the photos over and I'm dropping them in. And then I'm making sure that the keywords, the titles, and any descriptions transferred over. And if they didn't, then all I'm doing is I'm just simply copying and pasting from one of those tools that I used of either ChatGPT or Claude AI. And by the way, both of those tools, I don't pay for them. I use the free versions of it. So this is a real, very, what I would say, low type of investment that you need. But the keywords are really going to be important. If you have somebody that's going out there searching for great blue heron, but they might also use wildlife and wetlands, North American bird, bluebird, but you want to make sure of all those keywords are part of that image. And again, aim for 20 to 30 relevant keywords per image. Most of the stock sites, they have a limit for 50. And again, if you're using the AI tools, you're not even going to have to think about this. So let's talk about gear for a moment. I know someone is watching this right now thinking, I don't have the right camera for this. And let me stop you right there. You can shoot with an iPhone. Literally, you can do this with an iPhone. What you really need is you are going to need a program like Adobe Lightroom or Photoshop. There's other ones that we'd be able to use that you can just adjust the color balance and the exposure and all this. But as far as the cameras, I use a Fuji X-T5. It is way more powerful than needed. It exceeds what just about every stock agency requires. You don't need a medium format camera. You don't need to spend another dollar on gear to start this. What agencies care about most is going to be sharpness, clean exposure, accurate white balance, and technical quality. If you have the camera, shoot raw, process carefully in Lightroom, export as a high-quality JPEG at the specs each site requires, and usually those are going to be the specs that are set as default when you are exporting out of one of those programs. A creative, mediocre image that is technically perfect will outsell a beautiful image that is soft or poorly exposed. So get the technical fundamentals right the first time. And I know who I'm talking to. You guys are all photographers out there. You know what you need to do. So here's how I think about this. I'm in retirement. I have a camera I love. I have time to shoot, and I'm actually building income streams that don't require me to show up someplace every day. This YouTube channel is one of those streams. Videos I made 2 or 3 years ago are still bringing in viewers and revenue today. I did the work once. The video keeps performing. Stock photography is the same. You're not building a job. You're building a portfolio of photos that compound in value over time. And if you're retired or close to it, that 2 to 3 year horizon can be a meaningful income. It isn't discouraging. It's a plan. And I think that for all of us in retirement, especially, we need these plans. We need something that gets us up every single morning out of bed. So I hope you found this video informative, useful. And if you haven't done so already, make sure that you subscribe to this channel, as I do plan on uploading a future video where I'm going to walk you through my complete upload workflow, how I keyword, how I process for stock, and how I manage submissions across multiple sites. And if that's something that you want to see, again, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.